Life rewards action, not intelligence. That might sound counterintuitive at first, especially for those of us who grew up thinking intelligence was the key to success. I used to believe that too. In school, I did well in exams mostly through natural intelligence. I didn't have to work that hard. I could just figure things out quickly. Because of that, I developed a belief early on that being smart was the most important thing. Action, I thought, was secondary. I believed if you were intelligent enough, you'd find success eventually, almost effortlessly. But life doesn't work like school. In the real world, it's not the smartest people who always succeed. It's the ones who take action, the ones who do something, anything, consistently. The more I grew, the more I realized this truth. The smarter you are, the more creative your excuses become. You start rationalizing inaction. You talk yourself out of doing things because you can analyze all the risks, all the what-ifs, and all the ways something could go wrong. You convince yourself that any small action you might take isn't significant enough to matter. George Leonard, a man who helped introduce Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu from Japan to the United States, once said something that changed my perspective. Absolutely, you cannot do everything, but you can do one thing, then another, then another. That's how massive progress is made, not by trying to be perfect or waiting for the best idea, but by taking one small step at a time. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing something and continuing to move. Even this YouTube channel is built on that principle. Often I sit down to record a video and wonder, is this idea even that insightful or valuable? And maybe it isn't groundbreaking, but what matters is that I show up, I act. I press record, I speak, then I upload, week after week, month after month, year after year. And through that consistent action, things start to improve. You become more articulate. Your message becomes clearer. Your work becomes better. That growth doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. And here's a key point. Even if the action you take is poor, it still teaches you something. That's the beauty of action. You learn from it. But it's so easy to talk yourself out of it, to sit on the sidelines thinking about doing something instead of actually doing it. That's why the reminder is so important. Life rewards action, not just intelligence. Not clever thoughts, not brilliant ideas, not potential, but real-world action. That's where progress lives. Now, to take consistent action, discipline is crucial. But here's something I learned the hard way. You don't really know how disciplined you are until you start measuring something that matters. I realized this in a very real way a few years ago. My mentor at ESAID, Brian Leoth, asked me to write some technical notes. Just a few pages. It sounded simple, I agreed, but months passed, then a year, and I had barely made progress. I kept thinking about writing, I kept meaning to write, but the writing wasn't happening. Eventually, I hired a writing coach. We scheduled a call every Wednesday. Every session began the same way. How many words did you write this week? That question forced me to face the truth. At first it was painful. I thought I had been putting in effort, but when I looked at the actual word count, it was embarrassingly low. It felt like I was working hard, but the results said otherwise. That's when I learned that effort in your mind doesn't count. Only measurable output does. I started tracking how many words I wrote each day, each week. It was humbling, but it changed everything. Once I had a real measure of my output, I could no longer lie to myself about how unproductive I thought I was. My brain had tricked me into believing I was making progress, simply because I was thinking about writing. But until I measured it, I had no idea how little I was actually accomplishing. That's the same with any goal, whether it's writing, making videos, exercising, building a business. If you're not tracking a real, tangible measure of output, you probably aren't doing as much as you think. That's why you have to be careful about how you evaluate your own discipline. You can feel like you're trying hard and still be getting nowhere. Your mind will happily tell you that you're busy, that you're putting in the effort. But numbers don't lie. For me, in those early weeks, it was brutal to realize how little I was producing, but it was also the wake-up call I needed. Since then, I've come to appreciate how important it is to set clear, measurable targets for my actions. Take videos, for example. You can say you want to make videos, but have you made one? A video is a very simple measure. Either you finished it or you didn't. There's no hiding behind thoughts or intentions. That's why creating things, finishing things, and releasing things into the world is so important. Action is the clearest sign that you're doing the work. It's measurable, it's trackable, and it builds momentum. Action is what transforms you, not intelligence, not theory, not intention. Taking action, no matter how small, brings growth. When you step into the world, you engage with others. You receive feedback. You learn things you couldn't have learned by just sitting and thinking. Yes, intelligence plays a role, but without action it means very little. You could be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't do anything with that intelligence, nothing changes. So I'll say this, whatever your goals are, start measuring the actions that matter, not how much you think about doing them, not how much you prepare, not how much effort you feel like you're putting in. Measure what you're actually producing. Set clear goals, track them, and commit to showing up consistently. Whether it's writing, creating, selling, teaching, or building something, turn ideas into action every single day. So here's my challenge for you this week. Pick something that matters, define a measurable action you can take toward it, then track it every day, every week. Watch what happens. You'll be surprised how quickly things start to shift when you move from intention to action. Don't trust your feelings, trust your numbers. Let the facts tell you how disciplined you truly are. At the end of the day, life rewards those who do, not those who think, not those who plan endlessly, but those who take steps, however small, and keep moving. Because action is where the magic happens. It's where connection happens. It's where growth happens. So step off the sofa, step out into the world. Do something. Start today. Start now. Thanks for watching. I'm Connor, here in Barcelona, and I'm grateful for the time you spent with me today. Your likes, your comments, your questions, they mean a lot. They're part of what keeps me going and coming back to create more. So take care, stay consistent, and remember, life rewards action.